Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Titan Sports, the show where we provide you with the latest news in the world of sports and here at Cal State Fullerton. I'm Justin Rosette.
Hey everyone, I'm Sasha Pytell.
What's up, Timeout sports fans? I'm Christian Elias.
Hey everybody, I'm Jonathan Mansour. We have a lot to talk about, so without further ado, let's get the ball rolling.
The World Series stage is set. The Los Angeles Dodgers are back in the Fall Classic for their second straight year since the 2009 Phillies, taking on the Toronto Blue Jays, who are making their first trip back to the World Series since 1993. The Dodgers completed the sweep in Game 4 of the NLCS against the Brewers, winning 5-1. Shohei Ohtani put on a two-way show with 3 solo home runs in the first, 4th, and 7th inning, accompanied by separate scores from Mookie Betts and Will Smith in the first inning. Ohtani also pitched 6 shutout innings, only allowing 2 hits and recording 10 strikeouts, easily earning the NLCS MVP. The Dodgers are now the 5th team to ever win 9 of the first 10 postseason games, joining the 2014 Royals, 2005 White Sox, 1999 Yankees, and 1995 Braves. Over in the ALCS, the Blue Jays won Game 7 in heroic fashion over the Seattle Mariners 4-3. Both teams traded runs in the first inning, with Josh Naylor and Dalton Varsho each contributing RBI singles to make it 1-1. The Mariners' star power struck later on with homers from outfielder Julio Rodriguez in the 3rd inning and catcher Cal Riley, aka the Big Dumper, in the 5th inning to extend the Mariners' lead to 3-1. However, in the bottom of the 7th, with runners on 2nd and 3rd, designated hitter George Springer smashed a 3-run shot to left field, sending the Six into a frenzy and giving the Blue Jays a 4-3 lead, and ultimately the AL pennant. So, what did you guys enjoy from these games, and then what do you look forward to in the World Series?
So obviously one of the big things I did enjoy this was obviously Shohei, right? Obviously in the first couple series he really wasn't doing well, especially on the batting side. But you see this, he puts on the home runs, he finally puts on a show on the offense and then on the pitching as well. So we're starting to see the Shohei the player that he is, and in this World Series is going to start to show, especially coming out with the tough Blue Jays team. But the one thing I did mention early on from when the playoffs started was the Dodgers pitching was going to have to be phenomenal. And now you're looking at the Blue Jays. You're Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who's their best hitter on this team. He's been averaging .442, .510, and .930. He's only been struck out 3 times, and he has had 6 home runs, which is a Blue Jays record for home runs in the postseason. So if the Dodgers want to get a pretty easy series win, they're going to have to shut off Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and all those other batters on that side there too. Blake Snell, Yoshi, Glasnow, and Shohei. Batters against them are averaging 132, 207, and 201. So this pitching is going to have to be very dominant early on in the series.
Yeah, when I look into this series, I look at can Toronto's hot bats stay hot versus a dominant Dodgers starting pitching rotation. They have to crack and get into the bullpen immediately, or else it's going to be a long series for Toronto. This Dodgers team, no one's going to stop them offensively or defensively. They're just really good. And I'm going to be honestly looking at the bullpens for both sides because both bullpens struggled. So it's going to be interesting to see who's starting pitching can kind of dominate. I'm going to give the favor to the Dodgers. But I just want to really quick, George Springer, he was cheered by Mariners fans when he got hurt in Game 5. To come back in Game 7 and send them home is just poetic justice. And if I believe correctly, Poetic Justice is a song by Kendrick featuring Drake. And we have a Toronto versus LA World Series. Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. I think this World Series has a lot of storylines. You have Kendrick versus Drake, as you mentioned, USA versus Canada, the favorites versus the underdogs. I think it's hard for me to see a world where the Blue Jays, if the Blue Jays were to pull this off, this could be possibly an all-time World Series run. I mean, just in the World Series alone, being able to beat the Dodgers, who have looked like they've only lost, 2 games this postseason, or maybe 1 or 2 games. They've just looked unstoppable. So if the Blue Jays could beat the Dodgers, that would be an incredible playoff run. But as you guys mentioned, George Springer, he's given me nightmares because I'm a Yankee fan back when he was with the Astros. Vlad Jr., of course, also gave me nightmares this playoffs. But another thing, Blue Jays shortstop Bo Bichette is rumored. He said he's going to be back during the World Series. He had 181 hits in 139 games this season, 94 RBIs and 18 home runs. Him coming back could be a big addition for them. Also, though, could kind of throw off the team chemistry. They haven't played with him the whole playoffs, so him coming back now could kind of throw that off a bit. But overall, I'm looking forward to a very exciting World Series. It's going to be a lot of patrioticness and going on, like on social media and everything. So it'll be a lot of fun. I'm rooting for the Blue Jays, even though I'm a Yankee fan. I'm hoping for the upset. That's how much I hate the Dodgers. But as you mentioned, having to go up against Blake Snell, Yamamoto, Glasnow, and Ohtani in a 4-game series is I wouldn't be surprised if the Dodgers end up sweeping or winning in 5 games, but if the Blue Jays bats can stay hot, we could have a really great series.
I think it's great that you brought up Ohtani because he did have a really terrific game. And then I'd also read that something different he did to come out of that slump he was in before this past game was he started warming up with the team on the field and doing batting practice. So with that change in his routine, he was able to have a lot of success after that. And then we see routine a lot in baseball. So I'm curious if he's going to stick with that into the World Series, and maybe that will help his chances to perform just as well as he just did.
The Jacksonville Jaguars struggled across the pond this weekend, falling to the Los Angeles Rams 35-7 at Wembley Stadium. The trouble started early for Jacksonville when their quarterback Trevor Lawrence was sacked on the first play from scrimmage, and the offense never found its rhythm. Lawrence finished with 296 yards and 1 touchdown, but the Jags committed 13 penalties totaling 119 yards, including one that erased a punt return touchdown by Parker Washington. On the other hand, the Rams were nearly flawless. Matthew Stafford threw 5 touchdown passes, the most ever in an NFL game played in London. Wide receiver Devontae Adams caught 3 of them, while the Rams defense held the Jags scoreless through 3 quarters. Stafford's performance capped off a dominant day for Los Angeles. The loss drops Jacksonville to 4-3, while the Rams improved to 5-2 and continued to roll behind a balanced offense and solid defense. The win also marks the Rams' 3rd straight victory and completes their sweep of the AFC South. As for the Jaguars, they'll head into the bye week looking to regroup before playing the Raiders back in the States. So guys, as we know, the Rams are looking dominant. They've been bouncing back. Offense and defense is looking phenomenal on both ends. But you're looking at this Jaguars team. They have lost their last 2 games. What's your biggest takeaway from this team?
From the Jaguars, Lawrence got sacked 7 times. He never got time to be comfortable. And then the Rams' defensive front, Poona Ford, Braden Fisk, all those guys, they held the Jaguars to under 100 rushing yards. I know you have something to say about that later. But I'm really impressed with how the Rams played offensively. Matthew Stafford, 5 touchdowns. No Puka, no problem. They blew him out. And what they did was Stafford connected with 10 different players on the offensive side. Just getting everyone involved to step up in Puka's absence, not leaning all the way on Devontae Adams, who people expected would be the workhorse. But yeah, it was interesting. But for the Jaguars, they have a lot of problems, starting with that offensive line. And Brian Thomas Jr., he went down hurt in that game and only had 3 receptions for 31 yards. So some stuff to take from that game.
Yeah, I feel like when the game got to 14-0 for the Jags, from there they kind of just threw it all out the window. The Jags' passing offense is not as effective on a drive-to-drive basis. For Lawrence to just throw away the run game and then just throw the ball at whenever he could, basically. He dropped back more than 50 times and threw the ball 48 times. So I understand the scoreboard was away from them, and so maybe he was trying to do everything he could to kind of get them points back. But I just feel like that's really not an efficient way for them to win, and I think their strategy is definitely going to have to change.
I think the one highlight for the Jaguars in this game was Travis Hunter. He had, I believe, his first receiving touchdown, over 100 yards receiving. Almost all of the Jaguars' receiving yards came from him in this game. He also looked good on defense, and so he's definitely looking like he's developing into the #1 pick that he was promising to be at Colorado and at Jackson State. I think for the Rams, though, the Rams are just such a scary team, and they've just, every week they've gotten better. And I think when you look at their 2 losses this year, the first loss was against the Eagles, a game they were up, 26-7, I believe. And in that game, they had 2 field goals blocked, including the game-winning field goal. So if that doesn't happen, they're looking at possibly being 6-1. And their other loss against the injured Niners team, which I'm still happy about that loss, but that loss against a very injured Niners team, they also had a crucial missed field goal that they could have won that game. So 2 games they lost have both been due to special teams issues. And of course, there's more that goes into it, but when you look at the 5 games they've won, they look very good offensively in those games. And also, since those 2 games when they had special teams issues. Josh Carty, their kicker, is 7 for 7 in the last 2 games. So now that they're getting the special teams unit together, this team is coming together really well. Devontae Adams, 3 receiving touchdowns. I think they were all like 1 or 2 yards, but still, if you have a guy like him, one-on-one coverage in the end zone, just throw him a fade. He's going to catch it 9 times out of 10. So this team is looking good. They don't even have Puka right now, as you pointed to. So the Niners play the Rams again in 2 weeks. That's a game I'm not looking forward to, but the more the season goes on, the better they're going to get, more confidence they're going to have together. This is going to be a scary team to see in the playoffs.
And yes, and back to Jonathan touching up on the Jaguars' rush attack. Yes, I have ETN in fantasy, and he's been selling me for 3 weeks straight. 3rd straight game under 50 yards. I mean, he was looking like my fantasy steal, and that's not the point at this game. But aside of the run game, obviously with Brian Thomas Jr., with his injury, he wasn't really getting involved as much this season. Travis Hunter, they're really not knowing how to utilize them both on the offense or the defensive side. So Leon Cohen, from now on here, he's going to have to change up this whole scheme and see where Travis Hunter fits better and to see how he's going to get more ETN involved. And that O-line, that is the bigger issue. They're going to find a way to make some different rotations to see what's going to be better for Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, Justin, real quick, you mentioned Travis Hunter had a great game because coming out party, for being honest. Over 100 yards, got his first touchdown. We're still waiting on that first interception, but as you mentioned, he was great on defense. He had a pass breakup on Devontae Adams, one of the elite receivers in this game. So that's a bright spot for the Jaguars moving forward.
The Los Angeles Lakers fell short against the Sacramento Kings this past Friday, 117-116 in the preseason finale. It was a close game early on as the two went back and forth. The Lakers found themselves down 36-34 in the first quarter, but quickly turned it around in the second quarter, taking a 61-58 lead into the half. However, things really heated up at the last minute of the game after the Lakers committed a foul and handed Kings power forward Isaac Jones a free throw to break the 116 tie. The Lakers scrambled to recover but could not convert on a buzzer beater. Despite the Lakers capsizing in this preseason with a 1-5 record, the team tested out the waters ahead of the regular season. With the Lakers' addition of Luka Doncic last season, the point guard led the team with a game-high 31 points, also posting 9 assists, 5 rebounds, a block, and a steal in his 32 minutes of play. Contributing alongside Doncic was fellow point guard Gabe Vincent, who finds himself in the starting lineup while LeBron James is out until mid-November with sciatica issues. The point guard secured 14 points in his 23 minutes with 2 assists and 1 steal. Vincent's versatility on the court places him in a strong position to become a primary starter alongside Luka and shooting guard Austin Reeves. The Lakers will test out this new lineup once again in the season opener against the Golden State Warriors tonight. So you guys, the NBA season is officially here. Tip-off is tonight. A lot of excitement going into the season. But before we get to the upcoming season, this past Friday in the preseason, the Lakers, I'm a Laker fan, unfortunately. All 3 of us, I believe, are Laker fans? Yeah, pretty much. Okay. So how the Lakers lost to the Kings. It's a preseason game, but how do we feel, I guess, about the Lakers trying this starting lineup without LeBron being there for right now?
Yeah, so LeBron's going to be out. Obviously, Luka's going to be the one main guy here who's pretty much going to be doing everything on the side of the ball. DeAndre Ayton, they did acquire him, so he's going to be at the center position. So at least now the Lakers, they have a true big, which is something the Lakers did not see. They had a lot of great shooters with, Dalton Connect, Austin Reeves, LeBron as well, Luka. But the center position in the paint, that's really was the issue there too. So without LeBron, I'm really going to expect Ayton to really step up, especially in the paint, if they want to get some better shots for Luka, Connect, and Austin Reeves to see if the three-point shooting can be great. In this Kings game, their three-point shooting was 39.5%. So three-point shooting, it's still a little weak. It's going to need a lot of improvement if they want to win those battles.
Yeah, definitely. I think they did play really well. I thought they almost had the game because they were up in the last 3 minutes, but then obviously. So I think they really need to tighten their defensive focus, and with that, their closing execution is going to be really important because individual talent, like you were sharing, is very evident. However, in crunch time in those final moments, the team cohesiveness could really be improved. With the late game three-pointer allowed with 1.4 seconds left, and then in the final second, the defensive foul gave Kings gave the Kings the free throw, which ultimately won the game. So I just feel like this points to both like situational awareness issues as well as how they are disciplined under like defensive pressure. So I think the team is talented. They definitely have potential. I would just like to see them clean up those small mistakes because those could be really costly throughout the season.
Yeah, the Lakers finishing 1-5 in the preseason is not surprising me at all. As a Laker fan, they are not good in the preseason whatsoever. But there are a lot of good things to take away from the preseason as a whole. Luka Doncic, he just looked comfortable. 28 points per game, 48% from the field, 6 rebounds per game, and 6.5 assists per game. Looking like that all-around player that the Lakers acquired in February. And Austin Reeves, he looked good in the preseason as well. 18.5 points per game, 46% from the field. I know in the Kings game, he did struggle going 3-15 from the field, but I push that to the side. I don't even look at that, and I'm not really concerned about him. You mentioned DeAndre Ayton. Him and Luka, it's going to be lovely to see them in the pick and roll, getting all those lob opportunities for him. You mentioned Gabe Vincent. Man, he shot nearly 56% from three this preseason. He deserves that starting spot. The only concern I have about the starting lineup is it is a little small now. I mean, I guess it kind of helps that Luka is a little bit of a bigger guard, so that kind of like outweighs that. It does suck also that our bench scoring is now a little thin. I mean, we'll see what Marcus Smart can do, but he's not really an offensive threat, so that's kind of like my only concern. But we'll see how they do tonight against the Warriors. Staying with the NBA, the 2026 season begins tonight, and there are plenty of headlines circulating. So let's get started with our timeout talk. All right, guys, I'm going to ask 3 questions, and you guys just fill in the blank. The team that will shock the league this season is blank.
I'll take it first. So I did 2 teams, one from the East, one from the West. I feel like that's fair. From the Eastern Conference, the Atlanta Hawks. I think last season, the Hawks had a lot of injuries. They were also missing some players. They were suffering from the loss of DeJounte Murray. This offseason, they went and got Kristaps Porzingis, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and Luke Kennard. They addressed the big man need, the shooting need, and also just a wing defender need for 4 years in Alexander-Walker. Also, Trae Young. They just re-signed Dyson Daniels yesterday, and someone else I'm going to talk about in a bit, Jalen Johnson. So this team, I'm looking to win a lot of regular season games. I'd say maybe top 5, if not top 4 in the East, standings-wise. Playoffs-wise, it might take a few years, but I'm going to say them. And then in the Western Conference, I think I'm going to talk about the San Antonio Spurs. Now that Wemby's back and he's healthy from the scary issues he had last season, they had a great draft. They got Dylan Harper and Carter Bryant. Also, getting De'Aaron Fox last season, this was a very young team. Having Fox will help to mature them out a little bit, be able to win a lot of those close games they'll be in late. I expect them to be a top 5 team in the West as well.
I'm going to go with the Mavericks because they got the #1 pick, Cooper Flack. And then similar to as you said, given all this team's injuries last season and they still performed really well, I think with everyone like at full potential for better health that they'll be able to play just as well.
So for me, I love my hot takes. I'm gonna go with the Rockets this season. Now, this one is well, from what I've been reading a lot about this, but I do think the Rockets they can make a run this season. I mean, you look at last season the playoffs against the Warriors, they were 1-3 against them, from there, and they were making a run to Game 7, but obviously a lot of inconsistency, a lot of mistakes there too. And then one of the main guys I want to put Jalen Green last season, very inconsistent. I was really hoping he's going to pull out for the Rockets. We all have that one player that we hope was going to turn out to be great. He was just inconsistent. He wasn't getting it done. And obviously with the KD trade, KD's now on the Rockets, 26.6 points per game with the Suns. And we know what a healthy KD can do. When KD is healthy, he can really lead his team there. And then Amen Thompson, which is another guy, he's going to be the one true shooter that I'm going to see for this Rockets team. In this preseason, he dropped 11 against the Hawks, 19 against the Jazz, and 21 against the Pelicans. So I'm really going to see this KD and Amen Thompson to really strike for this Rockets team.
Yeah, for me, it was the Atlanta Hawks. I just love the addition of Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Kristaps Porzingis. This Eastern Conference is depleted. No Tatum for possibly the whole season. Tyrese Haliburton has already been ruled out for the whole season. It's just a great opportunity for them to finally take that next step with Trae Young on a contract year. He did not get an extension, so he has a lot to prove. I just love the surrounding pieces that they have. Luke Kennard as well. Just a threat behind the arc. So the Atlanta Hawks going to be my pick, Justin. I agree with you. The next segment is going to be the next player to make a jump to superstar status is blank. I can start real quick if you guys don't mind. Mine's Cade Cunningham. He averaged 25 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists in the playoffs, and has made the Pistons exciting again. I would love for him to take that next step, and I believe he will.
That's actually funny. I was thinking of Cade Cunningham, but I got to go with my boy Jared McCain. Obviously, he's had that injury that he's dealing with. I know. He is hurt, but I can back this up. He is hurt, yes, but when he comes back, last season, he was averaging 50.3 points per game, 46% field goal percentage. In November, that's where we really started to see Jared McCain finally see the true player. 19.1 per game, 7 games in November, he shot over 20, 2 of those over 30, and now with this whole Sixers team, they got Paul George here too. Maybe not looking the great, but it'll be a nice veteran presence for Jared McCain. It will be a little short, and he is injured. Yes, he will start off injured, but I do think once he comes back from this injury with this Sixers team, with Paul George as his veteran presence, I do think he will make a run as superstar stars, even if it will take a little bit from this injury.
Shout out to Jared McCain. He's in the TikTok Hall of Fame. He's from Sacramento, California. Also, shout out 916. For me, Jonathan, you went someone who was already kind of a star, and you went someone that's not a star. I feel like mine is somewhere in the middle. Mine is Jalen Johnson on the Hawks. Last year, Jalen Johnson was averaging 18, 10, and 5 before his injury. He was having all-star consideration. I think he's going to be the certified number 2 guy after Trae Young. He has so much opportunity when it comes to rebounding the ball, just stretching the floor. His three-point shot improved a lot last year, so he's my pick to take that next step, and I think he's a lot of times in the All-Star game, there's injuries at the end of the season. I think Jalen Johnson is going to potentially be an All-Star candidate this year. I think if there's some injuries, I think he could get into that All-Star game this season.
Those are all great guys, I think, for sure. I'm going to go with Victor Wembanyama. First of all, he's 7'5", so that's like a huge contribution just right off the bat. And then he not only is that, but he plays every position. So it's great that he can defend, he can rebound, he can block, and he can also shoot threes. And then also with it possibly being LeBron's last season, potentially, I think that this could really be his breakout to be the new face of the NBA. So.
Jared McCain, fun fact, he went to my rival high school, so I've seen him play up close in high school. Dope guy. The last part of the timeout talk, it's going to be the most underrated move of the offseason. What do you guys think? What was it?
I think there is one move. There's one I talked about, D'Angelo Russell being signed to the Mavericks. Kyrie, as we know, had the torn, was it Achilles, I believe, ACL? I think it was Achilles toward the end of last season. And he's going to be out almost probably the whole season. I think they said he might be able to come back around the playoff time. Going out and getting a point guard like D'Angelo Russell, who, as a Laker fan, we've had very much love-hate relationship with him. But, I mean, he's a guy that can score. He's going to pass the ball. He'll average at least 6 or 7 assists on this team. I did not mean to do that. He'll average around 7 assists on this team this season. So I think having him is going to be a good piece for them until Kyrie comes back. And then having him come off the bench in the playoffs when Kyrie does come back will be good for them. But the biggest thing, I think, is the Knicks signing Jordan Clarkson. I think last year in the playoffs, the Knicks were this close to making it to the finals. One thing they were missing was scoring a lot of the time. Jalen Brunson's being covered. A lot of their guys are being covered well. Having Jordan Clarkson coming off the bench, possibly 6th man of the year potential, just to score 15 to 20 points a game, take the pressure off of Jalen Brunson. In a year you mentioned, the East is wide open. So having a guy like him on that team, just to score and give them points off the bench and clutch moments, the Knicks could possibly look to make a push towards the finals with Jordan Clarkson this year.
Yeah, so for me, I know you already touched up on this one with your Spurs, but for me, I think it's going to be De'Aaron Fox, and obviously coming into this season, he is dealing with an injury as well there too. But you got Wemby, who is probably going to be one of the better players in his league, and Dylan Harper, you did touch up there, expected him to be one of the greater players on that team. And then you got Fox there, another veteran presence for both these two young guys. I'm really going to expect this truth to really blow up for San Antonio. And then with this time with Sacramento, 23.5 points per game. He was really a great asset to that whole Kings team. Now we're pairing up with Wemby and Dylan Harper. That's going to be a very good trio to see coming into this season.
Yeah, I'm going to go with how the Nuggets got Jonas Valanciunas from the Kings. I feel like they really needed the extra help to play with Jokic, so I feel like including him, they could play side by side a little better. And they'll definitely help spread the floor and give more opportunities to players on the team. So I think Jonas will help the Nuggets reach the potential of what they were doing during their championship season.
Yeah, Sasha, I actually really like everything that the Nuggets did this offseason. Bruce Brown, Jonas Valanciunas, a backup big that is a true backup big that can back up Jokic. But for me, this happened early in the offseason. I think it was still the finals. But the Magic trading for Desmond Bane has become underrated, let's be honest. This team shot historically bad from three-point percentage last season, shooting 31.8%. Desmond Bane is a career 41% shooter. He can really elevate this team, especially, like we've mentioned numerous times in the segment, the East is weak. It is time. This is a great opportunity for the Magic to kind of elevate themselves into the top seeds in the East. CSUF men's water polo falls to 15-10 on the season and 0-2 in conference play after a blowout loss from UC Davis 22-11. The Aggies got off to a hot start with 4 straight goals within the first 4 minutes and another 4 straight to close out the first, leading 8-1. Davis continued to show their offensive firepower by clocking another 5 goals compared to CSUF's 2 goals from Andrew Barnuevo and Alec Isaacman, leading 13-3 at half. The fourth quarter showed a little more fight from the Titans, outscoring the Aggies 6-5, but it was not enough to fight against the Aggies' large lead. The Titans are now 0-4 against Davis all-time, being outscored 71-42 in those 4 matchups, and still seeking their first ever conference win. The Titans are still trying to break this long streak of not winning a conference game. They have a great opportunity within these next 3 games as 2 of their opponents are Big West opponents. Christian, what do you think they have to do to kind of get themselves on the right side of the win column?
Yeah, honestly, it's really, I could say here both sides of the ball need to improve, but specifically their offense needs to really get going with these Big West matchups, right? We saw here, they're down 8-1, right? Their defense isn't helping, and their offense obviously isn't making any shots. They're not finishing well here. This offense needs to get an early rhythm to give some benefit to their defense. You can't rely on the defense to do everything, right? Before the Big West, the defense, it was proving a lot, especially a lot of games where they were supposed to win by a large margin, but the defense wasn't doing what they were supposed to do late in the game, and they improved a lot there too. With these Big West teams, they're needing to play offense early on first, get some good shots, so it can really, give some leverage to this defense so they don't have to put up all the work and make the offense struggle.
Yeah, definitely. I think they also should support the goalie going along with what you're saying. Ethan Ivey, he had 22 goals against him with 6 saves. So because the Titan field blocks were low and their counterattacks kind of just left Ethan alone in the cage, as we saw. So it's great that the Titans really improved as the game went on, because the only quarter where they outscored Davis was within the 4th quarter. So it seems like they can make good adjustments to other teams' defense and also improve their counterattacks and watch the other team's counterattacks. So even though they started slow, I think it was great that they were still able to finish strong and put up some numbers. So I think that determination will probably help them within conference play.
Yeah, I think for this men's team going forward in the last couple of games of conference play, I think they're not in a bad spot right now. As you mentioned, they fell to 15-10, which is, you're still 5 games above 500. You're still obviously looking to get that first win of conference play. But as we talked about before this season, every other team in the Big West is ranked nationally. So it's not going to be easy for a program that just restarted. I think this is their 3rd year or 2nd year. It's not going to be easy for this men's water polo team to get that first conference win. But one game that I'm looking at is October 30th. Here at Cal State Fullerton against UC San Diego. UCSD also doesn't have a win in conference play yet, and they aren't ranked. So I'm looking at that, circling that date to be a potential game. We're going to be at home that night. Might be good. Hopefully some good vibes going on. That would be a great night to get the first win in Big West play in water polo history. But 15-10, it's not looking bad. You have 4 more opportunities or 3 more to get that first Big West win. So just hoping they can do it sometime this season.
Yeah, you guys mentioned it. This offense kind of showed some sort of life in the 4th quarter. Jacob Hatch, he got going, scoring 2 goals. My biggest thing, though, is they need to get shots. They need to get shots on the goal. They're being outshot in conference play 72-57. It's going to be hard to score goals when the opponent is outshooting you by 15. It's going to be tough, but we're going to circle that October 30th game against UC San Diego, and we'll see if the Titans can get back on the right side of the win column. Coming up, Justin will break down CSUF men's soccer last matchup against Cal State Bakersfield. Stay tuned.
I have a question about
This past weekend, Cal State Fullerton men's soccer traveled to Bakersfield to take on the Roadrunners in a heated conference matchup. Going into this game, both the Titans and the Roadrunners were top 3 in the Big West standings, so surely this would be a close matchup, right? We'll look at that in just a second. But first, we're going to take a look at the 2025 men's soccer Big West preseason coaches poll. As we'll see here, Cal State Bakersfield was ranked number 6, and Cal State Fullerton was ranked 5th out of the 10 teams. So we'll keep that in mind as we go into the highlights. For our first goal of the day, we have Mario Carlos on a pass from Alex Lugo, and he scores. Mario Carlos is a name we're going to hear a lot in this highlight, so get used to that. This is his 5th goal of the season. Now for our second goal of the night, we have Ulysses Grotto. What is the goalie doing? He's not in the net. He's not where he's supposed to be. Grotto gets the easiest goal of his college career. That's going to be his 2nd of the season off of the turnover. Now, a name we just talked about, Mario Carlos. He's going to have his 2nd goal of the night here on the pass from Jose De La Torre. Takes a bounce, and he's going to rocket the ball into the goal. His 2nd goal of the night. And we're going to see here as he celebrates with his teammates. What an outstanding goal here. This was from Mario Carlos, the leader for the Titans team in goals. We're going to take another look at this in just a second. Off of one bounce here, he's going to rocket the ball in for a 2nd goal, right past the goalie, as we'll see. Great goal there from Carlos. Now, once again, Mario Carlos, his 3rd goal of the game on the pass from Alex Lugo. The hockey assist from Fernando Valenzuela, shoots it into the upper corner of the net for his 3rd goal of the game, the first hat trick of his Cal State Fullerton Titans career for Mario Carlos. And now, as he celebrates with his team, we're going to go into our last goal of the game. The score is now 4-1. It's not close at all anymore. Bakersfield, what happened? 5th goal of the game, Jose De La Torre with the free kick. He bends it like a Beckham. And now we're going to look at the celebration. We're going to pause the frame right here. Does this look like anything to you guys? To me, this looks a little Michael Jackson-ish, as we'll see here. I don't know. Maybe he's going to be Michael Jackson for Halloween. I don't know what he was going for there. But great celebration there. What an absolute rout from the Titans, winning 5-1 over Bakersfield. And now we're going to take one more look. The Titans were projected to be 5th, and they're at 1st place in the Big West with only 3 games remaining. So, Big West coaches, what happened? The Titans are at number 1 with only 3 games left. Now, going to toss it back to you guys. Number 1 in the Big West with only 3 games remaining. What are you guys seeing so far from this Cal State Fullerton men's soccer team?
Yeah, so obviously they're dominating in the Big West. I mean, they're 4-1-1 in the Big West. No one's really able to stop them. The whole offense, they're finally finishing. Last week, I mentioned this men's soccer team, they're going to be able to finish just a little bit better, and that's exactly what they did. They took advantage of Bakersfield winning 5-2. Now their next 3 games, which is CSUN, Davis, and San Diego. And like what you mentioned, just on the boards right here, right? Davis is 8, CSUN's 9. I'm sorry, excuse me, 1, 2. Davis is 6, CSUN 7, and San Diego is 8. So this men's soccer team, they're cooking. The defense is great. The offense is looking great. These next 3 games, they're going to be some great ones, especially that Davis game, which is going to be on October 25th, which is going to be on my birthday. So hopefully a little birthday magic could set for this men's soccer team. But I'm really expecting a lot of great things for this team, and right now they're cooking.
Yeah, I mean, Mario Carlos, first hat trick as a Titan, and he wins Offensive Player of the Week for the Big West. Big shout out to him. He was playing great. This Cal State Fullerton team, I mentioned it last week or a couple weeks ago, they lead the Big West in shots per games, and in their last 2 games, they have a combined 37 shots. Just absolutely tearing defenses apart, and they're beating lesser opponents, like you mentioned, and they have a great opportunity to win their 3rd game in a row this Wednesday against Cal State Northridge.
Yeah, going off what you said, their shots are amazing. This past game, they had 17 total, and then 8 of those were on the goal. So when they press high up on the field, it really shows that they can move the ball quickly and then apply pressure exactly where they need to, and then the other team's defenses just can't keep up. And I feel like within this game, like Bakersfield barely had a chance to breathe before the Titans were already back up in their box. And pressing like pressure. So I think they're definitely becoming an offensive threat in the Big West, and it's going to be great to see how much more that they can do.
Yeah, going into the season, both the Cal State Fullerton men's and women's soccer teams are ranked 5th, and they've had 2 great seasons, both of them, the last 2 years. So I knew that was a little bit of an understatement. The coaches definitely have been sleeping on our teams a little bit, and they're making the coaches pay for those rankings now. Number 1 in the Big West with only 3 games to go. As you mentioned, big games against CSUN, Davis, and San Diego. So hopefully they can keep that number 1 spot and earn a home game for the Big West playoffs.
All right, that about wraps everything up. Thank you for tuning in. Please give us a follow on Instagram and X at TitanTV CSUF and on TikTok at TitanTV_CSUF. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we look forward to seeing you all on the next episode of
Titan Sports.